everyone. I am Danny Benson of I Am Proud of You, Sis. Thank you for joining me today. Please like, share, and follow. I have an amazing guest. This is part of my I'm Proud of You Bro series on I'm Proud of You, Sis. His name is Stephan Edwards, because I got to put the middle name in there, Mortley. And he's actually going to talk to parents who children are interested in going to the next level of sports. For example, basketball and the NFL. The reason that I want him on the show is because we talk all the time, and he's saying the way that parents understood to get their kids into different leagues, to get noticed, to finally hopefully get drafted by the NBA or drafted in NFL, because there was an NBA draft just in June, is not the same metrics anymore. So I wanted him to come on so he can talk to you guys about what you guys can do now to make sure you have your kids on the track of success, in the hopes that they do make it to the NBA or the NFL. So everyone, please welcome Mr. Mortley to the show. I went to give him a cigar. I am so proud of you, bro. I think you're amazing. You've been doing this for a long time. You care about the children. You care about like the sport. You are definitely the liaison of getting the child and the children and the parents. You link to the agents, the recruiters are looking for these amazing, like, who's going to be the next LeBron, who's going to be the next Michael Jordan, who's going to be the next Stephen Curry, so you are the glue, you are in the middle. So please tell us how, if I have a child, they're 5 years old, 6 years old, let's just start. What do we do next?
Okay. So first of all, thank you for having me. And I appreciate you wanting to speak on this subject. I did come from a corporate sales background, doing sponsorship and marketing, from the Orange Bowl to the U.S. Open. And so Kobe Bryant's godfather is the one who actually told me I should do this. And then my mentor actually put me in the role, and then he passed away. And then his best friend put me in the role, and then I put it to the side. And then Kobe's godfather was like, nah, you should do it. So three people that don't know each other telling me to do it, I listened. So, back in the day, the situation was you got to do 2 years of college. Then they dropped it down to 1 year college. Then they dropped it down to from high school to the league. Then they pulled it back and said you got to go back for 1 year college. Recently, in the last 2 years, you can go from high school to college. Now, you talked about having someone like being a next LeBron James. That's far and few between. However, there is a kid, Stephan. He's going to UConn. He's committed to UConn. He's the next highlight reel. The kid is a definite problem. He has hand skills, hops, and everything else.
So what makes him, what is it about him that everyone thinks he's the next, he could be the next big thing?
Well, so if you look at LeBron, he had the court acumen. He had the sense of wherewithal to also know where he was from high school. He knew who to dribble on, who to post up on, who he could run past, who has one hand, who can't dribble left, who can't even, go off of 1 foot and take a shot, or where somebody's weakness was. And that takes a while. It took Michael Jordan like 5 years, because Michael Jordan was a rookie when George Iceman Gervin was running the Bulls. He was the captain of the Bulls. It took him 5 years to learn that. LeBron learned that in his high school years, but he played in AAU tournaments against different people. So he understood that and saw that. So you said how to start your kid into the next level at the age of 5 and 6. So if they're 5 and 6, you just let them go. But you have to get them into strong fundamentals on how to handle the basketball.
And what do you mean? Let's break this down, because I think London is going to be, I don't know. We just did a hoop for her, outside, because she loves basketball. Like, I'm just trying to figure out what she loves. She wants to sing, she wants to dance. So I'm
Yeah,
trying
they all
to
change.
water all the seeds.
They change. Sometimes it sticks with them though. Sometimes it sticks with them. Like for instance, there was a kid, Ebenezer Okendecker. When he came to me, I coached football for 6 years at Thomas Jefferson High School, first young black head coach to win a city championship. So
That's why I'm so proud of you, Mort.
so
I'm so proud of you, bro.
I tried to get all my kids, all of them had scholarships. The minimum was 2, but the maximum was like Ebenezer had 76 available to him. I mean,
Wow.
from Florida State to Stanford to UCLA, USC, LSU, Clemson, Auburn, you name it, they were available to him. And all those schools were available to the kids too, but you have to get the grades in together. So when they're 5 and 6, you could put them in like T-ball and you put them in all these sports. But when they get to like 9 and 10 and they say, Mom, I don't want to play T-ball, I want to do basketball. You listen to that. You listen to that.
Wait,
And
let
then
me ask you a question. What is T-ball? So for the
T-ball is for
audience.
baseball. It's like when you go past the park and they got the little stick and the ball on top of it and
Okay.
the kids are hitting it. That's
Okay.
T-ball. That's
Okay.
T-ball.
Got it.
You know,
Got it.
West Indians, we kind of call it cricket, but you know.
Got it. Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying.
But
I
yeah,
understand.
so it's T-ball. You get them all into that. And then when they get to the age of 10 and 11 and they start to say, well, Mom, I don't want to do this. I want to do this. I'd rather go to this game than go to that game. Then you start to gravitate over to what they want to do. And then you concentrate. When they get 12, 13 years old, if they're going to small AAU tournaments and they're into that more, then you start to say, well, I'm going to need a trainer to help them with their dribble. I see this kid on this team. He's able to go this way between his legs, do this, do that. And your kid is not. Now you have to get a trainer because those are learned skills. So here in Brooklyn, you know, you could go to the park and the kids will sit down and teach each other every day. That'll be their self-taught trainers because that's their neighborhood trainers. You know, and they use that to their advantage when they play other kids. When you're far out and you're in like Suffolk County and you're in like upstate New York, like Rockland, Newburgh, and all of, it's far and few
I'm
between.
in Nassau County, like
Nassau
Nassau County,
County is
Suffolk County, and
Nassau
there's
County got
not.
a couple of my guy Shandu McNeil, he's out there with the Long Island Lightness, and my guy Ira Hunt, he's out there at St. Mary's, and Coach D is out there at St. Mary's. They run a camp out there as well.
Yeah, St.
So
Mary's is in Manhasset, off of
Manhasset,
Northern Boulevard. Yeah.
correct. So you know they actually had Nick Richards come out of there, Lavelle come out of there, Danny Green come out of there. So they have about 4 over the last 10 years. They have 4 NBA players come out of St. Mary's. People don't know that because they would transfer like their parents would transfer them their last year. They would transfer them the last year,
Really?
but the first 3 years they're there. Danny Green went there all 4 years. Nick
Yeah,
Richards
because
went there.
Danny Green lives around where I live. He grew up in North
Right.
Carolina.
I'll be seeing him.
Yeah.
I'll be seeing
Me
him soon.
too.
I'll be seeing him soon. I'll be seeing him
Yeah.
soon.
So
But yeah,
St.
so
Mary's is like, it seems like the a really good place if you're in Long Island, not like the city, because the city has so many different high schools that are doing
so many
well.
different high schools, but in the city you gotta figure it out because not every high school, oh yeah, we get the kids to college. You know, every coach wants to coach, but they don't know how to coach. And I tell you, there's a few, in my biased opinion, and I say that, you know, wholeheartedly in my biased opinion, the better coaches are the coaches that actually played the game overseas in college, or they played heavily in high school and then dropped it and picked it back up. When I say heavily, you have to be all city, all state, you know, honorable mention. That way, you know that you knew the game, you into the game, not, oh, I play with my friends. That's not going to help another kid. It really, all you're going to do is mentor that kid, but to help the kid's skills grow, it's not going to help. And I can
So
say that.
are you saying most coaches in the NFL and NBA has once played before?
Yeah. What?
Oh, wow. Okay.
The
So they know the game
Celtics
inside out.
coach,
Okay,
he
because
was
I'm thinking that
nasty.
they're on the corporate side and they're like, oh,
No,
we want to be
no.
okay. Got it.
Darvin Ham was the original bully. He was the original bully. Like
Wow.
He was the Charles Oakley before Charles Oakley. Darvin Ham,
Really?
the dude that the coach of the Celtics. Please,
Yes, yes.
please look at the Nets.
They almost won too. They almost won.
And some of the coaches they played later, like the Knicks coach. He played in the 60s, which is cool because he knows he's been
But
an
I think the game
assistant.
has changed though. If he played in the '60s,
Exactly.
the game has completely changed
Exactly.
from the
Exactly.
'60s. Because
Exactly.
look at Golden State, their coach played also.
Kerr.
Yeah,
Steve Kerr.
was he
But
on Chicago Bulls? Didn't he play
he
on the
was
Bulls?
on the Chicago Bulls. He was
Yes.
the come
He
in
was the
for
point guard.
He was the point guard. He was the
I'm a
substitute for
sports
John
person,
Paxton.
everybody.
Look at that. You know it. So he
I
was the
know
substitute
it.
for John Paxton in those runs with Michael Jordan. And then he actually went to the Spurs, if I'm not mistaken, and got 2 championships with the Spurs too. And then he said, all right, I'm retiring. And then he retired for 3 years and came back as a volunteer coach and then a player operation scout, then player operations. And then he worked his way up. Now he's a coach, But I mean, who put that team together? I have to be biased. He was a neighbor and he went to my high school.
Jackson,
Mark Jackson, my
Mark
man.
Jackson put the team together. That's right.
BKMJ, that's what it is.
Yeah, because Mark Jackson used to play for the New York Knicks.
Exactly. He played for Golden State, played for New York Knicks. Only teams he didn't play for was the Lakers and Oklahoma Thunder and the Wizards.
Wow.
Yeah, he stretched his career. He stretched his career because, again, you go back to the dribbling, the court acumen, knowing how to control the court, knowing who to pick on when you're there, what's the weaknesses, and being just a court general and strategic strategies. You got to learn that from like when you're 10 and 11 and 12. And the reason why is because not every coach knows how to teach that. So you have to try to pick that up along the way. And LeBron picked that up along the way. And now if you look at him, sometimes when they're in the huddle, the coach just leaves him alone. And then the coach talks to him. And then he makes the adjustment. But then if the coach sees something, he waits for the coach to be like, yeah. But here, add this. And that's what you need to learn because you only have a short period of time in the NBA. From the time you're 17 to the time you're 27.
What is the span?
17 to 27. If you don't do anything by the time you're 17 to 24, 25, it's over.
It's over.
It's over. Now, if you're still in the circle, and you're still in the mix and you're still making things happen inside, and I can say that for Chris Paul, I can say that for James Harden, LeBron James, Trevor Ariza. Trevor Ariza, damn near 40 years old, and he's still playing.
Well, first of all, I think just like the Tom Brady's, I mean, I think 40s is a new 30s. Because I remember when I was younger, and when you said you were 40, I was like, really? A 40 you're so old? But do you know how many people that I know that's in their 40s that are still like, just active and they're not old at all, they're hip. Like even like when Tom Brady like retired, I was like, oh, that's not gonna last because he's still young. What is he gonna do?
Because he still got the itch and he still got the motor skills. So again, if you still have the motor skills, you can still keep going. You know what I'm saying? You can still keep going. Like, oh man, the Big Chief. He played for the Celtics. I forgot his name. Black guy. He ended up sitting on the Sacramento Kings bench, but he played like 17, 18 years with the Celtics.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then played another 5 to 7 years on another team and 3 years on another team, then retired. Danny Ainge is the same thing. Danny Ainge played like 12 years with the Celtics, and then another 10 with the Suns, and then played 2-3 years somewhere else, and then he retired. That's 20-something years.
You know what I like about sports? You know what I like about sports too? People like kids need to understand it's also the IQ of knowing how to play the sport. So you could physically, have skills.
Yeah.
But mentally, you also have to be like have a higher IQ in it.
IQ, yes.
Just like when you talk about LeBron, how he just studies the dribble, the tape, that has to do with your mental capacity.
Yes.
And then you incorporate those two things with your physical capacity to actually play the sport.
Right.
So So it's not just you just knowing how to dribble and you know how to make moves.
Not at
You
all.
also gotta look when they give you the plays and actually know how to move
Right.
around.
You have to have the skill that they want.
Yeah.
And you know, LeBron's not a client of mine. So, but I've been in the room with him, been around him. Good guy. I don't know him intimately, but what I've seen, he handles himself professionally on and off the court, and you know, socially, he's great. But learning that takes years. Like example, there's some kids that came out in this draft that were freshmen from like Alabama, Clemson, and all. Their parents wanted them to come out. Okay, great. But the kid can only dribble one way. Some of the
Wow.
teams may work with him, but if he does not improve on his third year, what are you going to do? And
So what
some
do
of the
you recommend?
agents,
So do you recommend kids to stay 4 years in college just to get their skills together? Because you could possibly get hurt too.
yes. So it depends. It depends. So here's the situation. If you're in the top 10, come on out. Come on out. Top 15, come on out. Come on out. Because the first after next year, first round guy is making like 57 million.
Mill,
And he
mill,
gets
yeah.
35 up front or 40. Yeah, he gets like 30 up front in cash that night. Well, not that night, but in that process. And then the rest is broken down by, you know, years because he has 4 years to his contract, mandatory 4 years. So situation is you have to understand you want your kid to come out. Do your kid have so many skills? Because scouts look at that. Let's take Pat Beverly. Pat Beverly, a lot of people say, oh, he shouldn't be in the NBA. Technically, he should because a lot of coaches look for his skill. His one skill is to get into your head mentally. His other skill is to interrupt your play by stealing. And then the other skill is just to get the energy of the team. He doesn't make a lot of points.
That's
He
how I
does.
feel about Draymond
Draymond?
Green.
No, Draymond is
Yeah,
what
like he mentally is there
yes.
to just mentally get you off your balance, make you insecure, make you second guess your shot. So he's
Exactly.
in your face, and
And
I
that's
know
a
people don't
skill.
like that, but there's a
That's
reason
a
why.
skill. That's a
Yeah,
skill.
it's part of the whole reason why I think they win is to get into the other person's head to make them,
It's
because when you got to shoot that ball, you have to be so precise to the point that if there's noise in your ear, your confidence drops a
you have to
second.
make it. Gotta make it.
You you
Gotta make
you might not make it. So
it. And
okay,
if
so
you
I want
don't,
to okay for the parents. What okay? So how do I know I have my kid in a good program? So
so
let's
in
let's start
my
let's go back
yeah,
to that.
so
Let's go.
if you when you have your kid in a good program, they're traveling. And the reason why I said that, so I ran track professionally, but before that we traveled. So the Jerome Youngs, the Sandra Edwards, well, she's not Edwards anymore. Sandra Richard Ross, those Dworsky Odoms, the who else was there? Um, the Jamaican runners. I forgot her name. She's married now. She's been married for a minute, but she's the top Jamaican sprinter
I
right
think she
now.
was a joiner, something joiner. Is that her?
Even Jackie Joyner Kersey. Like I would
Yeah,
see
yeah,
them
yeah.
every
I know
I
something
would
like
see
that.
them every other weekend or every major meet when I was traveling when I was older. But when we were younger, like the twins from South Carolina, Mickey Barber and Mickey and Mickey Barber, the Barber twins, I would see them every other weekend. Then when we got to college, I would see them every other weekend. But
Wow.
they're Olympic champions, they're US champions, and they're world champions. So what it does, the travel gets them a sense of, yo, I gotta up my game. I'm not the best out here. I gotta work on this. I'm not the best out here. And it gives you that sense because at the end of the day, you got to do that in the classroom too now. You got to do that in the classroom
Yeah.
as well. So in the classroom, you got to say, well, I got to get a better grade. So it changes your mindset to, yo, this guy can't get this dribble on me. He crossed me over last time. I'm gonna watch and make sure he don't do it again this time. It gives you a sense of focus, and that sense of focus runs into being your competition for yourself to be better person, whether you're becoming a mechanic, whether you're becoming a painter, whether you're becoming a real estate person, you move your goal up. You don't stay stagnant, because a stagnant mind is a lazy mind. A lazy mind is a dead mind. A dead mind don't do anything.
So how do you know if your kid is in a traveling team? If your kid is in a traveling team, how do you know which school like the scouts go to actually find your
So
child?
the
Like,
scouts, so the scouts, the scouts and the well, let's take the journalists first. So the journalists like Wojciechowski, Mr. K, he has a long name. Mr. K has been a journalist for New York City basketball way before Mark Jackson. I mean, Tiny Archibald days, right? And those guys are the guys who write you up. And then they do a comparison all the time. And then it's like, okay. And then the AP poll, Associated Press, ranks you. ESPN ranks you. Then Adidas rank you. Nike ranks you. Then Reebok ranks you. All of them, they rank you.
yeah, because
So
I'm trying to figure out like if my kid plays basketball in the school, how can I get this writer to notice my kid if my kid is phenomenal?
the AU teams. So in this area here, like the AU teams, Cardinals, New Heights, Hershey. Those are the three good basketball teams, AU teams here in, I would say, the Brooklyn area, right? The Cardinals is more so upstate Manhattan. I mean, yeah, I want to say Westchester, the Bronx, Manhattan area, right? New Heights is Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx. Hershey, same thing, but they're mainly in Brooklyn, right? Back in the day when Stephon Marbury, Mark Jackson, it
And
was
what
Brooklyn.
about Long Island?
Long Island is Long Island Lightness. Long Island Lightness. They're off of Cherry Hill Avenue, Cherry Hill Road. They're right there by Hofstra University. They're right there by Hofstra University. So in this area, that would be them.
Mm-hmm.
That would be them. So when they're playing now, they go to these tournaments. So if the coach is not taking them to Jersey, he's not taking them to. There's a Pangos camp in Philadelphia. If they're not going to the AU, if they didn't qualify or get in, now it's all about relationships too with these coaches. That's why I said to you, in my personal bias, some of the best coaches are the ones who played overseas, who played in college and really played in college. Like they played for Norfolk State and they ended up beating out UK. Now that coach is coming back to the city and he's coaching, but he's also a teacher. But he has those relationships from those guys he beat out while he was traveling. And now those guys are college coaches. Now those guys are NBA coaches or NBA scouts or NBA, big wigs. So those relationships go a long way. Yo, I got a kid. I need you to look at him. Hey, my kid is better. I think you should look at him. He's underrated.
That's what happened when I watched the Serena Williams
Documentary.
King Richards. Was it
Yep.
King Richards with the
Yep.
dad? How he
Yep.
was so animate, like you gotta see my girls, you gotta see my girls, you gotta see my girls.
And
They play
he was a
excellent, and it was
coach fighting
basically
for not only his daughters, but his truthfulness of his players.
yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yes.
And you
But
have to have
because
that.
of his tenacity, he is. I have to commend him as a dad. He is the reason why Serena
And
is
Venus
where
made
she
it.
is, and
Yeah,
Venus, because
yeah,
he didn't give
yeah,
up. Because he
yeah.
could have gave up.
He did it his way though. He didn't do it the consummate way that I would say liberal Americans want you to do it. He did it his way, and he did it his way with you not disrespecting the process he put in place or the process he sees going. Don't mentally try to discredit my daughter. Don't try to physically discredit my daughter. Don't lie against my daughter saying that was out when it was in. Like he stood up, and you have to have that. Your coach needs to fight for you because your coach is actually your surrogate parent when your parent's not around. So those are the coaches I think that make the best coaches. You know what I'm saying?
The ones that are like more caring, empathetic, family oriented, and it's
But
not
not
just about
afraid.
winning.
Right.
Not
But
just
not
about
afraid
winning.
to not afraid to say, listen, you lost today, but it was kind of a win because you learned this. You
Yes.
know, and you should pick up this because this you learned this today and it's gonna help you in the long run. It's not gonna hurt you. Yeah. But those are the things that and they're not afraid to pull your kid. Like, yo, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. What you doing? What's going on? When you go in the locker room, what's the real story? Be truthful. If you don't be truthful, I can't defend you. I can't help you. I need to know so I can help you strategize your mental capacity so you can go on. And that actually helps you when you become a grown-up. Because grown-up peer pressure is a lot different than kids' peer pressure. So those coaches actually make it well worth it for you to have your kid in the program.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying?
So parents, if your kid is interested in football and basketball, you first have to make sure they're going to be in a traveling team, right?
Well, football is a little different because when they reach high school, they can't play AAU anymore.
Okay.
They on their high school team. So if you're going football wise and baseball wise, well, baseball, yeah, you could travel, you could do the under 19 team. They go everywhere, but you have to be selected, and that has to do by state and by region, right? So they have tryouts for that and everything. I mean, that's bananas. You get all kinds of scouts. The Yankee scout, he comes all the way from Cuba sometimes if he's on holiday to come back to watch a kid. Like legitimately, like the baseball is different animal. Football wise, if your kid is not growing to the capacity and not making his tackles and not throwing the yardage and comparing himself to another person, that he wants to go to Georgia, he wants to go, because these schools are now signing 7th and 8th graders for football.
Wow.
Like the kid that just left USC, he was signed years ago when I was coaching.
Wow. It's amazing how you can, a 7th grader or 8th grader, someone could see them and see their potential.
The potential, yeah, because it's the acumen that he learns, and also he has to put the work in. She has to put the work in. You know, let's take the young lady from, I think she's from the Virgin Islands. She played for South Carolina. She played netball, so netball was the beginning. See, the Caribbean never changed it to basketball.
Okay.
If you look it up, netball was the beginning of basketball for women because the men who made the rules said women shouldn't sweat, women shouldn't run, women shouldn't wear more than a skirt, women can't dribble, women can't they have to stand and shoot. If they miss, they have to throw it to the next person. Literally, you can look it up. It was the most biased crap ever.
I learned something new today.
Ever. She came from netball to basketball. And here's the thing. She already had an acumen of shooting. So now she knew how to control the ball a little bit, but with her height at 6'6", she's the biggest thing out there. So now I got to get a little bit more technical. She didn't have the opportunity to go on the AU team and stuff like that. Her dad worked with her. Her mom, her neighbors worked with her. Her school, her coach worked with her. And then she ended up coming to South Carolina. Coach Daly had to work with her too. Sorry, Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley had to work with her. The Olympian, the world champion, the 2-time NCAA champion, Dawn Staley.
Wow. Well, Morley, you have to come back because I have a lot of parents who ask so many questions about how do I know I'm doing right by my child, by making sure I'm placing them in the right places to be seen, right opportunities. You know, they don't know because you said that the game has changed a lot. From how it used to be.
So let me give you an example. So really quickly, now if you are on the AU team and you get in the top 150, right? The big teams, Pac-10, Pac-12, I mean the UCLA, Stanfords, University of Kentucky, South Carolina, they're trying to get you signed at 10th, 11th grade. They're trying to get you a verbal commitment. They're trying to get you to come there. But if you have that skill and an NBA team is calling your mom or your dad or your coach, your AU coach, to say, listen, we're interested in him. We want him to come in for a workout. You have the ability to come in for the workout And if they say, well, I need you to work on this, and we think you're not fast enough, you're not dribbling side to side fast enough, you're not doing this fast enough, your parent can now say, look, we're not going to go into the draft. You're going to take this scholarship to LSU, and you're going to let coach work with you. And the LSU coach is one of the best coaches out there. I think it's Coach Pearl, Bruce Pearl. He's been in basketball forever. He's a basketball guy. So you let Coach Pearl just mold you. Then that year, if the AP poll says you're listed to go number 2 and you drop to number 15, just let the kid go. Let the kid go. Because if he gets hurt that year, he now has to start at 0.
I mean, I know this.
I'm here. Danny?
To say, Mortley, thank you so much for coming on. I'm proud of you, sis. Featuring I'm proud of you, bro. I just want to give you your cigars. I'm so proud of you. I love
thank you
where you are right now. And this is your passion. This has always been your passion. So those people were definitely directing you to where you were meant to be. That's why I think it's so important to have mentors, guys. If you could grab yourself a mentor, sometimes you just don't know what direction you want to go, but someone who has more experience than you has maybe taken that same sort of path can lead you to better pastures of water.
Right.
So that's why I tell young kids all the time, please, 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 please find a mentor. Find anyone can be your mentor. As long as they're older than you or have experience in what you want to do.
Yeah. They can find somebody for you in the direction you want to go. You know, definitely. You can still use them as a mentor too. I mean, people can ask me any kind of question. My IG is Anchor Mortley 06. Haven't posted anything in a little while. A couple of my players are headed out of town to some workouts. I'll be posting some stuff. Well, I'll be here in Brooklyn, but you know, you can always copy and paste from people. But
yeah, so for anyone who has questions to ask Mortley, give them your IG one more time so they know like to hit you up.
Please. Anchor Mortley, Mortley. Anchor as in boat anchor. We like to keep the kids centered and close to home so they can know where they came from, so they won't have far to go. Anchor Mortley 06. The 06 is for Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
All right. Well, Mort, I want you to come back next time to talk about the NFL since we really highly concentrated on basketball. And I know there's a lot of kids who play football in high school right now. So please let's make this happen, especially when sports and I think it's gonna start like in a month or so, right? Like the new season of the NFL.
So the summer league right now, the Utah Summer League is happening for this week, and then the Vegas Summer League happens for 2 weeks, and then they have a little small stint in LA, and then they got a break of like 3 to 4 weeks. They go to their own teams. Their teams try to situate them with housing, and then they go into their training, and then they go into preseason, which is the October season somewhere in there. But you know, anybody can ask me a question on my IG. You know, again, if the kid is getting noticed, listen, they can ask me. I'll answer it. You know, and I'll give them my best opinion. But again, ultimately, it's up to the parent and it's up to the kid because. Remember, the kid is signing under 19 to 18 years old. If they're 17 going, the parent has to sign too. So they're both responsible for the kid's future.
Wow, so much amazing, great information for the parents out there. Thank you so much, Mortley, for coming on. I'm proud of you, sis.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Tell my girls tell Lolo and Lala I said hi.
I will tell Lolo and Gigi I said hi. And I'll be sending Lolo your way soon.
No problem. I got a couple of guys that's gonna help out.
Yeah, but she'll be joining the WNBA, of course. You know.
Yeah, so that situation hasn't changed. They want you to go to college and then go to the WNBA.
Okay. Hopefully, hopefully that sport will start getting a little bit more respect. And hopefully those players
they're working on it
start
like
getting
diligently.
Equal pay. Women will start getting equal pay.
No, so the NBA guys and you know, again, I'm part of the NBPA. The NBA guys, they're fighting for their sisters. They're fighting diligently for their sisters, and I'm proud of them because you can't have people undervalue their talent. You can't have them undervalue their talent.
Got
But anybody can ask me a question. I'm here to
Okay.
support. Came from a one-parent household up until a certain time, and my mom ran all about. So you want to have your kid at least get a little bit of education because they want to understand certain things like contracts and, people.
And
Literally, psychology of people.
and definitely get a good lawyer too. Make sure you
So
have a
so
lawyer reading that
technically,
contract.
so technically, you just need an agent. Your lawyer, your agent doesn't have to be a lawyer, and your
Got it.
lawyer doesn't have to be an agent. But
Got it.
your lawyer can look over your contract if you want them secondarily. But your agent is the one that's signing it, whether you're in the NFL, NBA, MLB, or MLS. So you have to be certified by those houses, the NBPA, the NFLPA, the MLBPA, and the MLSPA, in order
Okay.
for them to do it. You just have to have a bachelor's, pass the test, and know your numbers really.
Okay. Well, that's why I'm trying to tell kids, stay in school, get those good grades, because you
Listen,
need those good grades. You could be the best athlete in the world, but if you don't have those good grades, that's what's going to make the difference if you join the NBA, NFL, and if you don't. So thank you, Mortley, for coming on the show, and I will
thank you
see
for
you
having
guys
me.
next week, next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
All
Please
right.
like, share, and follow. Bye.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.